Assiniboia Downs is proud to present our co-featured event here in race number 1. It's the 21st running of the Distaff. They're going to go 1 mile for a purse of $25,000. Number 1 is Supreme Rush, owned by K5 Stables, trained by Shelley Brown with Antonio Whitehall. Number 2 is Lotus Lane, owned by Gold Medal Stable, trained by Tanya Lindsay with Christopher Husbands. Number 3 is Floating River, owned by K5 Stables, trained by Shelley Brown, Renaldo Cumberbatch aboard. Rounding out the field is number 4, Jungle Story, owned by Al Daly, Cam Ziprick, and Barry Arneson, trained by Tanya Lindsay with Adolfo Morales. Following the running of the Distaff, Ed Pollock, CTHS Director. And now just waiting on Jungle Story. They're at the post. And they're off in the Distaff. From the inside, Lotus Lane hurried hard after the early lead. Supreme Rush is in second, and now Floating River moves up and goes after the early leader. Supreme Rush back to third, and Jungle Story, it's your early trailer, only 4 off the lead. Lotus Lane with control through an opening quarter of 24 seconds. Floating River on the outside in second, hugging the rail. That's Supreme Rush in third. Jungle Story, still heavily restrained, is your early trailer. Lotus Lane still running comfortably, but now Supreme Rush makes a little bit of a bid through a half in 49 seconds and inches closer on the outside. 3 wide, Floating River. From the back of the field, Jungle Story is starting to make up ground. Now Lotus Lane and Supreme Rush have opened up 4 on Lotus Lane in third, and Floating River is your trailer. These two battling it out 3 quarters, 1:13 and 4. Lotus Lane on the inside. Supreme Rush now puts a nose in front on the outside. Jungle Story from the back, trying to reel him in. Supreme Rush, Lotus Lane on the inside. Jungle Story's gonna make one more bid on the outside, but Supreme Rush is gonna take the Distaff. Very close for second between Jungle Story and Lotus Lane. Now entering the winner's enclosure is the official winner of the 21st running of the Distaff. That's number 1, Supreme Rush. Supreme Rush is a dark bear brown filly, 4 years old, by Majestic Warrior, out of the mare Cat Rush by Tactical Cat. Owned by K5 Stables, trained by Shelley Brown, and ridden to victory by Antonio Whitehall. Time for the mile, 1:41 and 1. Number 1, Supreme Rush, was proudly bred right here in Manitoba by her owner, K5 Stables. Also, Assiniboia Downs is pleased to have on hand Ed Pollock, CTHS Director, to make a presentation to the winning connections. Race 1 is official in the upcoming second race, the Manitoba Sports Writers and Sportscasters race. Scratch number 1, Lone Warrior. That's race number 2, scratch the 1, Lone Warrior. And with that scratch, there will be no triactor and no superfecta wagering. Post time for race number 2, the Manitoba Sports Writers and Sportscasters race. We'll go to post in 18 minutes. And now, directing your attention back down to the winner's enclosure, ASD Paddock host Rob McLennan has the winning connections of the distaff. Rob, take it away.
Thanks, Kurt. We're down here with the winning connections of the 21st running of the Distaff Stakes here at ASD. Supreme Rush, Antonio Whitehall, Shelley Brown, and the K5 stables. Antonio, your third stakes win in a couple of days, your second win in a row on this filly. Kind of an interesting race where you ended up kind of having to go after Lotus Lane and just holding on late. What did you kind of think going down the backside?
Well, going down the backside, I know the track is holding the speed, so I know I had to get close to him in order to beat him. I couldn't let him be the lone speed up front. But I mean, she's a good filly. She's fun to ride. It was just everything turned out as planned.
That's definitely the way you want it to turn out. I know last time you kind of made the sweeping move and went right on by, but today you had Jungle Story kind of coming to you late. The last 16th of a mile, did you feel you really had enough under the bag, or were you just kind of hoping for the wire there late?
No, I had it in the bag. I know I had horse under me. She's good. She's a good filly.
She is a very nice filly, this 4-year-old Manitoba bred. Congratulations, Antonio. Anything else to add?
Thanks to the K5 stable and Shelley Brown.
Thanks, Antonio. We'll move on to Shelley here, a filly that's won 3 races now this year for you, and kind of a couple of impressive ones. And today, kind of a grittier effort. What was your thoughts kind of coming into the race?
Well, I feel this isn't her best distance. I knew this was going to be a little bit of a stretch for her, and worrying about the speed bias track, I knew that we were going to have to sit a little closer, and she's going to have to be a little saltier or closer to the front end. I wasn't sure if that was going to suit her, but she held on, so that was the main thing.
Yeah, she really did run an excellent race. I kind of thought coming down the backside that she really had to get going, and she did. And Antonio really did a nice job of timing that move. So what's kind of the next step for her? Would we look at the matron? Would that be an option possibly?
Yeah, we'll see how she comes back, and we'll start making some decisions what we end up doing with her.
Congratulations, Shelley. A nice win. Anything else to add here?
I do. I want to say thank you to the K5 Stables for the opportunity to train her, and all my staff and crew, Leona, everybody, my vets and farrier. Everybody does a great job. It's a big teamwork.
Thanks, Shelley. And we'll move on to Daniel. You're coming in to speak for a second here. So Supreme Rush, a filly that was second in this race last year, a very nice 3-year-old filly who's turned into a very nice 4-year-old. What was your thoughts coming into kind of today with her?
We thought we had a good chance, and it was an exciting race.
Definitely an exciting race, a close finish. At what point did you kind of feel like you really had it in the bag?
At the finish line. Until then, we were a little nervous, but the horse came through.
That's definitely a good thing to feel. The finish line, I definitely feel like that's a secure place to pick them. Definitely. So what's your next kind of thoughts? Anything else to add here about Supreme Rush?
We'll probably talk with Shelley, and Leona will come up with a game plan for the horse.
Always good. Congratulations to all here at the K5 Stables, Shelley Brown, Antonio Whitehall, the winners of the 21st running of the Distaff Stakes here at ASD. Congratulations.